So I was on Discord and I noticed Ozyar had posted a link to a video. You should all go subscribe to Ozyar, his channel link is in the description. The video is by Kat Blaque, it's called In My Opinion, and she goes on about transphobes and transphobia, and I thought, wizard, let's have a little look at this video, because I've only really covered the subject with Justin Riley Apple Dennis.
I swear to God, it almost seems like these people just don't understand the definition of transphobia. Oh, and hello everyone, my name is Sinatra. I am Omegon's land-ridden, not seafaring hetero life mate.
Well, they certainly would if you're dating someone who is transphobic and you yourself are trans.
I'm a lot of things.
All of which can simply be condensed down to snowflake.
I'm a 5'10", size 16, atheist, black trans chick who also happens to be an obnoxious SJW, if you couldn't already tell by all of the identity politics.
So if we exclude height and weight, snowflake.
And who says intersectional points aren't a competition? And second off, height and weight can be snowflakes. You're just a really, really big snowflake. And did I miss something? When did atheist become an intersectional feminist point?
And shock upon shock.
Well, imagine my shock. Imagine my shock. Imagine my shock. Well, imagine my
cock.
Not every dude that I've met has been into me.
Are you telling me that you're only into dudes? It's well established, courtesy of Justin Riley Apple Dennis, that preferences are transphobic. And in your case, yours are sexist.
At a certain point in my life, this used to really bother me. I mean, no one likes to be rejected.
Very true. Which is why we are very grateful, we, the world, are very grateful that we have body pillows, so that no one ever has to feel or suffer through the feeling of rejection ever again.
Rejection isn't such a bad thing. It builds your character. It helps you be able to handle the word no. And if you've ever been to a bar at closing time, chances are you'll get laid one way or another, sweetheart.
But I often got rejected for things that I just couldn't change. When I was single, I get rejected the most because of my race and my trans status.
When you say race, did they reject you because they didn't like the colour of your skin, or because they have a preference to other colours of skin? And with regards to trans, did they reject you because they found out you were trans in the bedroom when you whipped it out, or did you tell them and then they rejected you?
I mean, people not liking that I was black was something that I had learned to anticipate.
That depends. Did you think it was because they're racist or because they had a personal preference? Some people do or do not have jungle fever. It's just a thing.
This is just another one of those things. People like you or they don't like you. The veneer of your skin color being an issue can be popped so easily just by finding a common ground on something. But having a swangin' dick between your legs is a little more difficult to get over. And ladies, there are plenty of you out there who have your own preferences one way or another. You only date Asian men, you only date light-skinned black men, you only date dark-skinned white men. It's just a thing. It happens.
Living in a society that exalts whiteness, people preferring a white girl over me isn't exactly that shocking.
I wouldn't say it exalts whiteness, more that white people are the dominant population in your country. Race shouldn't be an issue at all with regards to dating, but if people are going to have a preference with regards to race, it's not really a problem. And if you're in a place and someone tells you that they have a preference and you don't happen to fit it, you shouldn't take offense to that.
But what used to really mess with me the most was being rejected because I was trans.
Much like earlier mentioned, this one does depend on location, situation, environment, and of course context.
And I mean, this would really mess with me. It would mess with me because there were so many times where I would go out to social events and they'd be so into me. They'd like my personality, my appearance, my hobbies, and sometimes even my pesky SJW ways. But they would draw the line at my transness.
And again, this does depend on whether or not you brought it up at the start of the conversation, or after all of that and you were maybe about to hook up with someone, or it came up, just popped up later on in a discussion randomly. I've noticed a lot with SJW types, they seem to want to bring that kind of thing up at the start of conversation along with identity and kinship.
I don't have a response for this. I can't imagine getting hot and heavy with a lady. You're making out on the couch, you move to the bedroom, you go to play with her downstairs area, and you just feel a log, I would probably cry, because I am a straight man. And I know that's like the worst thing that's ever existed, but if I'm gonna get down and dirty with a lady, I need a vagina to be present in the bedroom. And I'm sure under feminist tribunal law, that's rape of some kind. That being said, Blair White, feel free to call me.
And that cut deep. It's one thing for someone to look at you and your skin and say that they aren't interested. It's a whole other thing for them to look at you and like everything about you, but this one thing that you can't change.
I thought they had surgeries for that. You know, to help you with that one little thing you thought you couldn't change.
There were generally a few stages that I would go through in response to this rejection.
I wonder if they're like the 5 stages of death.
Stage 1 would be me flipping my hair and trying to plead with them that I'm just like every other girl.
Jesus Christ. No. Instead, I'm just going to ask, please don't flip your hair. That would cause an injury.
Stage 2 would be me bragging about my sexual prowess.
Do you do this in a room full of people with lots of noise so not many people will pick up on what you're doing? Or do you do it in a near empty room and make it as cringy as possible by declaring how amazing your blowjobs are?
No one gives head better than me. Come on, try it.
See, that's the thing though, is that's all by hook or by crook it would take for you to get a guy to go with you and test out them dank head skills. And let's just be honest right here. SJWs don't give head, and it's like mouth rape.
Stage 3 would be where I would really double down and went straight for it. You're transphobic.
So we've had denial twice, and the third one is guilting them into it? Do you think after you declared someone to be transphobic, they're suddenly going to go, "Oh, drop trousers, suck my dick, please. I don't want people to think I'm transphobic."
Wait. Hold on. That is for sure. That's like definitely a kind of rape, right? Like guilting someone into having sex with you is got to be a kind of rape, doesn't it?
You're attracted to me, but you won't pursue this any further? Well, that makes you transphobic, and it is what it is.
I'll be honest with you, I'm a tad torn as to whether or not this is in fact transphobic or not. Because if someone has said to you outright they do not, will not, shall not date someone who is trans, you can certainly argue that they are in fact transphobic, for whatever reason they've given as well on top of blah blah blah. But if it is in a nightclub or your social event, and you've hit on them, everything's working, and they are led to believe you are female because you haven't told them you are trans, then I don't think it's so much that they're transphobic, but more that you have deceived them because they expected to stick their dick in the front door, only to find that the front door is inaccessible.
And I felt this way for a fairly long time. And was I necessarily wrong in this accusation? Not really. I mean, there's something to be said about how we're all socialized to prefer cis bodies and only see those bodies as real, and anything outside of that is fake.
This really seems like the Dr. Seuss story where the green eggs and ham, it's like, I will not bang you anywhere. Not in a house, not on a mouse, not on a train, not in a plane. I will not bang you here or there. I will not bang you anywhere. Except instead of a food item that you might actually grow to like, it's a dick, which you don't like. Because you like vagina.
When you say to find cis bodies attractive, that doesn't make much sense. To only find cisgender bodies attractive means you're already talking about a person rather than male or female, which would be more specific and, well, accurate. And would also mean that your point is invalid because trans people are usually, because they're not all non-binary cupcakes, male to female or female to male. We are socialized to find male or female bodies attractive. That is correct.
I don't want to negate that idea completely, but here's the thing that I learned from saying this time and time again. It doesn't work. You think that you're making a great point that's going to make them re-examine their biases.
Or, depending on circumstance, make them feel incredibly guilty to the point where they have sex with you and never call again.
But all they hear is an accusation.
That's because people, for the most part, don't like to be accused of something they're not, and also accused of something they can't prove they're not, without, banging every trans person on the planet. Words have power, unless they're used to the point where the word has lost all meaning, so overused.
And a very personal one.
and a very rude one. Again, depending on circumstance, it could simply be a rude outburst, which in itself is a definite mood killer, boner killer. Either or, both.
Non-gendered sexual extremity terminator.
Because we're all socialized to see cis bodies as the only real and valid bodies.
Trans bodies are not a separate gender. Trans is transitioning, male to female, or female to male. Therefore, your body would be eventually one of those cis bodies that you are referencing incorrectly.
And not to mention that, it's just simply not wrong to want to have sex with a certain type of genitalia. Gay people do it, lesbians do it, straight people do it. You try to shame everybody into voting for Hillary and you lost. Now you can't shame people into having sex with you because that's like proxy rape.
It often takes people who even have a vague interest in trans people a while to process their attractions and what they exactly are.
What they are is someone that is attracted to someone who happens to be trans. There's not much to add to that. Unless you are about to tell me a new label needs to be created. That doesn't mean someone is fetishizing trans people, but simultaneously finds trans people attractive.
You're trying to pressure somebody into deprogramming a bias within them in literal seconds. And that's just not going to work.
Not entirely true, but I will accept the premise. Quite a lot of people are stuck in their ways, certainly with regards to who they find attractive.
Especially in regards to the fact that some people need to have sex with vaginas. That's what their thing is. Your thing is being trans and having a dick. You don't have a vagina, so some people want to have sex with you. You want to have sex with someone, your best bet would be a bisexual guy, maybe. Or just find someone who's into you. You don't need to fucking get mad when a straight dude doesn't want to have sex with you because you have a dick. So, yeah.
Aside from the fact that this doesn't really work, here's what you're indirectly communicating to them.
As if the direct communication of "you're transphobic" wasn't bad enough.
You're telling this person that you barely know that your worth is defined by them. You're effectively giving them your power and your agency. They have the opportunity to define whether or not you're worth it.
This sounds like an awful lot of effort that can easily be remedied with a body pillow. No more rejection. No more transphobia.
At the end of them giving you a chance despite what they usually do, you'll feel a sense of validation that you frankly should feel without them. Now look, I understand as somebody who's passionate about social issues. I get it. We want to teach and explain that these biases exist, but you should never have to convince somebody to consider you as a valid companion.
Well, here's the thing you're missing. You don't need to be a companion to sleep with somebody. You need to be attracted to somebody to sleep with somebody. You can be friends with people who want to fuck you, and you can be friends with people who don't want to fuck you. It's all about a level of physical attractiveness to that person. Second off, why would you shame somebody to try to be with you when they already kind of don't want to be with you? You're not going to enjoy it as much because they're not as into you. They're not going to enjoy it as much because they're not as into you as you want them to be. So it's just going to end badly for everybody involved.
It's what the whole dating process is, proving to them that you're worth a lifetime of commitment. And that works for both men and women. And I'll add trans men and trans women to this. It's a whole lifetime of commitment. I would argue that you are incorrect.
You should never give anyone that much power. What you're doing in these situations is debating with somebody who probably doesn't care about why they should care.
This entire video seems like a very bitter way of saying, to all those that have rejected me in the past, pull down your pants and let me suck you off. I'm kidding. It does come across as somewhat like you're trying to make someone feel guilty, and then you're trying to justify telling them they're transphobic even though you don't really have to, which you've already stated, and then to explain to your viewers why you shouldn't make any concerted effort with these people, who I would assume are white because you've mentioned earlier disdain towards white people.
All they're going to say is that they feel how they feel, and they'll focus on the accusation more than the self-reflection that you're trying to give them.
Probably because the word transphobic is quite powerful, certainly enough to make people feel like you are trying to attack their character by telling them they are scared of something because they won't fuck it.
This goes back to my argument earlier. Why would you want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with you as much as you want to be with them? You're making yourself out to look like a bigger jackass than you're trying to make these other people look. It's not that bigot dick isn't worth it. It's that dick from somebody who's not into you as a person isn't worth it. Unless you're into being a fucking pound cake, then why bother trying to get with someone who doesn't like you?
True story, some of the men who rejected me came crawling back after some self-reflection, and all they really gave me was a loose asshole and a broken heart.
And with that mental image, I think I'm done with your video. That said, it does make me wonder if they came back after what you call self-reflection, and I would call guilt. So they manned up, gave it to you good, pumped and dumped, basically. They pumped and dumped. Thank you all for listening.
Yeah, you really seem like the height of empowerment here, Kat Blaque. You got a loose butthole and you got dumped. Really hope that was worth calling someone transphobic. But at least according to you, your head game's good. Thank you, everyone, for watching this very impromptu collab here. I want everyone on my channel to go check out Omegon's channel, and I want everyone on Omegon's channel to come check out mine.